Indian Railways officer, and he is presently the General Manager, Freight Operations Information System for Center of Railway Information Systems in Ministry of Railways. And he had been Executive Director of Freight Marketing Railway Board, Director of Freight Marketing Railway Board, and Director Traffic Commercial General. And before that, he was Deputy Chief Vigilance Officer, Senior Divisional Commercial Manager, Jhansi Division, Senior Divisional Operations Manager, Divisional Commercial Manager at Allahabad, Assistant Traffic Manager, Tundla, and Assistant Commercial Manager at Solapur Division. So quite a distinguished, traversing throughout India and having diverse experience. He is postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad, postgraduate in electronics engineering, microelectronics from IIT BHU, and graduate in electronics and commercial engineering from Kumaon Engineering College, Dwarhat. So based on his experience at the Railway Board, it would be quite an honor, quite an opportunity to listen to him and get an initiation into public-private partnership. Mr. Mudit Chandra, this fabulous group of officers all over from Indian Railways, they are over here, including from Concor, and they would like to get enlightened.
Terminal is coming up under the previous two policies. Whatever terminals were existing before December 21, they are continuing, but all new terminals are covered under the new GCT policy. So the objective of bringing this new policy was, as you might have understood by now, to boost investment from industry in development of additional terminals.
Excuse me, Mr. Mudit, excuse me.
Sir?
Yeah, actually, I think I forgot to introduce the group to you. So we have got a very good diverse group over here from Indian Railways. So a quick just name and designation would be enough. Because Mr. Mudit Chandra would be able to know that what is the audience and how the policies of policies for this PPP could be of help to them. Yeah, please, from Descent.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Shobha Delsinis. I am Chief Medical Superintendent of Chennai Division, working in Chennai for the past 2.5 years. I am very much interested in PPP model.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. I am Mudit, Senior Divisional Commercial Manager, Salem Division Service.
Hello, sir. This is Deepak Sharma. I'm DCM Goods, Mumbai Division, Central Railway.
Jagdish Kumar, Deputy CST Core.
Morning, sir. This is Ratan, Divisional Operations Manager, Varanasi Division, NER.
Good morning, sir. I am Anil Panistra, Deputy Chief Quality Manager, MCF Private.
Good morning, sir. I am Dinesh Sharma, DA Operation Muradabad.
Good morning, sir. I am Krishna Murthy, Assistant Commercial Manager, Trivandrum Division from Southern Railway.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Priya Shantini, Chief Radiologist from Southern Railway Headquarters Hospital, Southern Railway. We are into establishing CT-MRI center in our hospital, sir. It is under process.
Great.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Prashant Kumar Majumdar. I am ACHD Radiology of Southeastern Railway, Central Hospital, Garden Reach.
I am Dr. Saravanan, ACHD RH Perambur, and I am ophthalmologist.
Good morning, sir. This is Ajay from Container Corporation, Bangalore.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Ramaraj Vinas, Senior DMO, Kota Division, WCR.
Good morning, sir. This is Ankit Pradhan, AFA, Banaras Locomotive Works.
So as you can see that the group is quite diverse, but I think medical people are quite ahead in implementing some of the PPP models, and quite a few of our distinguished doctors are amongst us, besides being from operations, from traffic, from accounts and electrical and mechanical. Even though the freight business that is being discussed, but we have to really see to it that it is how every one of us could be benefited from it and how a parallel could be drawn. So over to you, Mr. Mudit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is a great, we have a diverse group from different departments. So I will try to make it meaningful for all the participants.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so we will continue. So the objective of bringing this new GCT policy was, as you might have understood by now, to boost investment from industry in development of additional terminals. We are aware that this year we have loaded around 1,591 million tons of cargo. And this year means 2024. And our target is to load 3,000 million tons of cargo by 2030. So if we want to double our freight business, then we need additional terminals, because all our terminals, most of our terminals are already heavily congested and not really in position to handle additional cargo. So we need a large number of new terminals, which will require a huge amount of capital investment. So GCT policy aims in bringing the investment from industry in development of these terminals. Then, as I have already said, the second objective is to replace and unify the existing policies. This policy is applicable on all new terminals which are commissioned after December 21, or everything which is commissioned is under the new policy. Under this policy, terminal can be developed on non-railway land as well as fully or partially on railway land. Okay. So in the previous policy, the PFT was allowed to be developed only in non-railway land. Means the party has to have its own land for development of PFT. And private siding, normally they used to develop on private land, which is non-railway land. But in case of PSUs, there was a provision that they can take land on lease from railways and then develop their own siding. So in GCT, it can be developed on non-railway, partially on railway, fully on railway. And there is also a provision of migration. The existing sidings and terminals, which were commissioned before December 21, they also have a provision to migrate to the new policy, because the terms and conditions are more beneficial for the customers, so they can migrate to the new terms and conditions. Okay, so now we will enter into a brief introduction about the provisions of the policy, how this policy aims in easing out the process of applying for and setting up a new terminal. The problem which we used to face before the GCT policy was that the process for approval used to take a lot of time. The file used to shuttle between divisional headquarters and zonal headquarters multiple times. A lot of officers were required to examine the proposal, give their consent. Then a lot of documents were approved, signed, or diagrams, maps, etc. Plans were approved and signed. So there were cases where if only the approval process took 2 years or even more. So it was considered to be a huge disadvantage for Indian Railways. Somebody is there who wants to invest money, who wants to set up a terminal and then give traffic to us. It is a completely beneficial proposition for railways. The party will invest the money, the party will set up the terminal, party will give us business, party will give us freight revenue, party will give us different types of charges, and even then we were taking 2 years and up to 3 years maybe in a few cases, but just for giving up. And construction again 3-4 years. So it was considered to be a huge business cost for Indian Railways. So in this new policy, we have tried to streamline and hasten the process of approvals and construction. So DRM is the nodal officer. Now all the authority for giving approvals and looking after the construction has been given to the division. And DRM is the nodal officer. During approval and construction, the senior DOM will be the coordinating officer, and once the construction is complete and the terminal is commissioned, then senior DCM will be the coordinating officer.
So that is very interesting preposition which has been brought in, that DRM has been made the nodal officer for approvals and branch officers would be proposing it. So similar parallels or any other similar proposals could be initiated and many things can be approved at the DRM level itself. So that is really to open up our minds based on the this policy which had already been there, and then we can, if something is not there, we can propose it to the board. Yeah, please.
So previously everything all approvals used to happen in headquarters. Okay. So obviously the workload on headquarters used to be much more because they are catering for all the divisions. Then we are aware that the manpower available in headquarters is also quite less, relatively, talking about division. And then for the parties, for our customers, it was a more difficult thing because they are located in the divisional headquarters is usually closer to their setup. The divisional headquarters is usually closer to their setup. Previously, they used to go to zonal headquarters and chase with their file, chase with the officers there. That was a troubling thing for them. So division is closer to them and they are able to follow up their proposals in easier manner. Then the main process change which we have brought is that the application process is simplified, online application and time-bound approvals. The application process is online with minimum number of documents required.
Are you moving the slides? Yeah, you are still on the first slide itself.
Yeah, I am talking about first slide only. The last point.
Sure, please.
So the application process is simplified, online application with minimum number of documents required, minimum information required, and approval is time bound. The division is expected to examine the proposal and give its in-principle approval within 20 days. And since the process is online, so railway board or zonal headquarters, they are able to monitor it. Whenever a application is delayed by more than 20 days, we can generate alerts, we can monitor it, and we can talk to the concerned division that why the process is being delayed, and then they can expedite it or they can resolve the issue. Similarly, after approval, the construction process is also, strict timelines are given, so that the construction is also not delayed. Capital cost, the capital cost from the takeoff point. So the takeoff point is the point where the terminal starts from my existing line. So we have a station or a line on the Indian railway system, and somebody wants to construct a GCT. So a point will be decided that okay, the line for this GCT will start from this point of my existing station. So that point is called the takeoff. So from the takeoff point onwards, all the capital cost is to be borne by the operator. And for the connectivity portion, now the connectivity portion is Okay, so we have a takeoff point, and maybe the land of the operator is say maybe 2 kilometers away from my station. So there a 2 kilometer line will be laid. That will be called the connectivity portion. After the connectivity portion ends and the terminal starts, then there will be a whole set of facilities for loading, unloading, etc. So the connectivity portion, obviously the cost will be borne by the operator, but it has been prescribed that only the minimum essential infrastructure will be required. So only the track, signaling and OHE will be required. Okay. So previously what used to happen that whenever a new siding or PFT used to come, the railway officials used to put in a lot of demands that we also need this thing, this thing, this thing. Only then we will grant approval to the terminal, that we will need maybe a bridge over here, all sorts of things were demanded. So now in the policy it has been mentioned that only the track, signaling and OHE will be required. Nothing else will be required in the connectivity portion. Okay. Then if at a later date, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, the assets are to be upgraded. Suppose a signaling system has been installed and 10 years down the line, the railway is upgrading its own signaling system. So correspondingly the terminal also has to upgrade the signaling system. So the cost of upgradation will again be borne by the operator. Okay, so all the capital cost, either in the beginning or subsequently for upgradation, is to be borne by the operator. And the common user traffic testing. For facilitating a new terminal, some work has to be done at the station also. So maybe we have to upgrade, create a new loop line. Maybe we have to upgrade the signaling system at the station. So whatever is taking place at the station, we call it common user traffic facility, because that facility will be used by all my trains. Whatever train is passing through that station, that train will be using the same facilities. So common user traffic facilities, the cost will be borne by the railways. This is again a new concept brought in the policy, because in the previous policy, the cost of common user facilities at the station were also borne by the operator, the party which is setting up the terminal, because it was felt that these new additional facilities are required only because a new terminal is coming up. So the same party will bear the cost of these facilities also. However, in this new policy, we thought that okay, we are setting up these facilities because we are getting additional traffic. So we are going to get additional freight revenue from the additional traffic, and these facilities will be used by all my trains. So the cost will be borne by the railway. So this has considerably reduced the capital. This has considerably reduced the capital cost burden on my operators. Okay. However, there is a caveat there that if a new blockade or a block station is required to be constructed, then the capital cost will be borne by the operator. So if there is an existing station which has to be upgraded, the cost will be borne by the railway. But if we have to create a new station to facilitate the terminal, then the operator will bear the cost. However, again we have facilitated the operator if he gives us traffic above a certain threshold, then the cost will be reimbursed as freight revenue. Okay, so if the operator spends say 8 crore rupees in construction of a new station, and he is giving us traffic within 3 years, he starts giving us traffic above a certain threshold, then we will start giving him freight rebate of 10% till the time the 8 crore rupees is reimbursed. Okay. So again, this reimbursement concept is a new concept which has been brought in this policy. Now the policy has two schedules. Means there are two categories of terminals which have been planned and envisaged, and for each type of terminal there is a separate schedule. So there are two schedules. Basically, there are more than two schedules, but these two schedules are dealing with two different type of terminals. So schedule 1 is for terminals entirely on non-railway track. So if a party comes to railway and says that, okay, I have this land available with me, which is close to your station, or even maybe 2-3 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 10 kilometers away from our station, and I want to construct a siding or a terminal there, a GCT there. So that case will be covered by the schedule 1 of the policy, which is entirely on non-railway. Okay. So again, there will be a standing committee of DRM, senior DOM, and other officers of the division. Party has to give a nominal application fee of 20,000 rupees only, and the supervisors of 3 departments. Once the online application comes along with application fees, the supervisors of 3 departments, which is engineering, operating, and S&T, they will go and do a joint survey of the location where party wants to establish a GCT and give their report within 15 days of the application. And if the report is yes, if they say that okay, it is feasible to construct a GCT there, then within 5 more days, that is within 20 days of the application, in principle approval, IPA will be granted to the party. Then within 4 weeks of the grant of IPA, the party has to submit the ESP, which is engineering signal plan. Okay. Within 4 weeks, the party has to give IPA, and as soon as ESP is approved, the party is allowed to start construction. So, okay, so within 20 days, the IPA is granted. Within 4 weeks or 1 month, ESP is submitted, and maybe within 1 month ESP is approved. So within 3 months, it is expected that the construction of GCT will start. No departmental charges. Previously, we used to charge departmental charges from the operator. There was a whole lot of provisions of departmental charges, and they range from 6.25% to 15%. So if a new terminal is coming up with a capital cost of say 60 crore rupees, so in 15%, that means 8-9 crore rupees was departmental charges which were levied by the railway. So it was a huge burden on the operators. It was a huge disincentive which discouraged people to come in and establish their terminals. So that has been completely done away with. There is no departmental charges now. Just approval. As soon as ESP is approved, they can start construction. There is a refundable security deposit of 10 lakh rupees. So as soon as the terminal is commissioned, it will be refunded to that. Then there is a schedule 2. That was schedule 1 on non-railway line. Schedule 2 is terminals which are either partially or fully on railway. Okay. So if railways has a land available which is not to be used in foreseeable future, we don't have any use for that. And if the division thinks that there is potential for freight business there, then they can set up a GCT there. So what division will do, they will identify sparable land which can be spared for construction of terminals, and also determine the minimum infrastructure requirement. And the division will decide what is the minimum facilities which I require. Okay, I require a terminal with 3 lines, 2 lines, 5 lines. I need 1 platform, 2 platforms. I need a warehouse of this area. All those things they will decide. And as you can very well think that once I am giving railway land to operator for setting up a terminal, I cannot just allocate the land to anybody. There has to be a transparent process by which any potential. Is anybody saying something?
No, please continue.
Am I clear? Any doubt there?
Everybody is clear? Yeah.
Sir, please continue, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I cannot, the railway cannot allocate the land to anybody on anybody's field bill. There has to be a transparent process by which the land is to be allocated. So there is a tendering process, whose package single state system, in which the first package is the eligibility criteria, and whoever applicant are eligible, the second package, which is a financial bid, is open, and the best bid is awarded the contract. So actually, what happens then, whenever there is a freight loading or unloading takes place in any of our terminals, we charge some TC or TAC. TC is terminal charges and TAC is terminal access charges. So since we are talking about TC and TAC, so I will just give a brief introduction of these charges. So TC or terminal charges are at present 20 rupees per ton, and they are charged for any traffic which is loaded or unloaded from railway wagons. So if any party is doing loading or unloading from railway wagons, railway owned wagons, then I charge a small amount, which is terminal charges, TC, 20 rupees per ton. Okay. And TAC is terminal access charges. So if a privately owned wagon, privately owned rake comes and access a terminal, then I charge TAC. So if loading unloading is done in railway owned wagons, it is TC, terminal charges, and if it is a privately owned rake, it is TAC, or terminal access charges. So in Schedule 1, if the terminal is on private land, then I hand over all the TC and TAC to the operator. Because TC and TAC are charged for developing and maintaining the terminal. I charge this amount from my customer so that I can develop and maintain the terminals to facilitate loading and unloading. So if the operator is doing that activity, then I hand over all those charges to the operator. Okay, so in Schedule 1 terminals, the complete TC and TAC are handed over to the operator, and that is a source of revenue for the operator. In Schedule 2, it is shared between the operator and railway. Okay, and the operator which asks for minimum amount of TC and TAC, or in other words, who is ready to give the maximum percentage of these charges to railway, will be awarded the contract. Okay, so if the first operator says that I will take 80%, I get 20% to railway. The third says I will take 75%, I give 25% to railway. And the third says that I will take 50% and give 50% to the railway, and the contract will be awarded to the third bidder, who is giving the maximum share to the railway. Okay. Then this is the process for awarding the contract. Then the railway line on which the siding is being developed, the terminal is being developed. Actually, I am using the word siding and terminal interchangeably because traditionally we used to call private terminals as private sidings. So for last 20 years, we have been calling it siding. So the word is there in our tongue. So whenever I say siding, please assume it I am talking about GCTs or terminals. Okay. So whatever railway land is being given to the operator for setting up of this terminal, that is leased to the operator and licensed to the operator, and we charge license fee as per the existing rules. Okay, there is one more thing which I think I have missed in putting in this presentation. So we talked about connectivity. Okay, in the first slide we talked about connectivity. I said that the cost of connectivity portion will be borne by the operator. Okay. So you can well imagine that suppose I have a station and somebody is setting up a terminal, say 100 meters, 200 meters, whatever distance, 1 kilometer, 10 kilometers away from the railway station. Then the railway line will start from my station and go into his terminal. So that railway line, that portion of connecting railway line, connectivity portion, some portion of that line will pass through my land. And after that, when my land boundary is reached, then it will enter into private land. So some portion, maybe a few meters, maybe a few 100 meters, maybe a few kilometers, will pass through my land, railway land. So in the previous policies, we used to charge license fee for that connectivity portion also. In the new policy, we are not charging any license fee for the connectivity portion. That land is given for use to the operator for free. He doesn't have to pay anything for the connectivity portion, for the land license fee. He just has to pay license fee in under Schedule 2 for the portion on which terminal is being developed. Okay? I hope I am clear. Okay. So wherever feasible, wherever possible, we have waived off our charges. We have said that okay, you give us traffic, the freight revenue is my source of income. I want to maximize my freight revenue. I want to maximize my loading. I am not interested in charging land license fee from you. I am not interested in charging land lease charges from you. I am not interested in charging development charges, developmental charges from you. I don't need these. These are the hardly 0.1-0.2% of my total freight revenue. Okay. So even if they are double, I don't really get anything. And if my freight revenues increase by say 5%, I earn a lot. So our focus is on increasing the freight revenue, not of charging different charges and harassing the customer. Okay. Now, the fourth point, operator. In the first point, I have said that divisions determine the minimum infrastructure required. But the operator can create additional infrastructure. Suppose railway says that I need 3 lines in this terminal. In this terminal which is coming up on railway land, I need 3 lines. The operator can come and say that okay, you are asking for 3, but I think I will create 5. Because I think there is traffic for 5. Either today or maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, he can say that okay, the traffic has increased, I can create 2 more lines. I want to create 1 more line, I want to create this thing. He is totally free to create any additional infrastructure, providing the minimum has to be there. He cannot compromise on the minimum. Anything above minimum, he is free to create. He can provide any value-added facilities. If he wants, he can provide trucking service. If he wants, he can provide cold storage, whatever value-added service he can provide, and he can charge whatever fees he wants for the value-added services. Okay? So if he says that I want to create a cold storage there, he is free to create a cold storage, and he is free to charge any charges for the use of that cold storage. Okay? So all that flexibility, all that freedom is given to the operator, so that he can work in maximizing the freight business, which will give me freight revenue. So all the freedom because he is sitting there, he is more flexible, he is looking after the market day in and day out, he knows what market wants. What market wants today, what market will want 5 years down the line, what market doesn't want. So he can take decision on the fly, and he can create facilities, he can shut down facilities, provided the minimum is there, and he can charge the price. Complete freedom is there. The only condition is that whatever facility is created on railway land, it will remain a common user facility with non-discriminatory access to. So suppose somebody creates a terminal and gives facilities for, say, handling cement, then on the portion on railway land, he cannot say that, okay, I will allow the X cement company to operate and I will not allow the company Y to operate. Or I will charge this amount from X and I will charge this amount from Y. So that he cannot do. That he can do on his own land. If it is his own land, he can do anything. We as railwaymen cannot stop him from doing that. But on railway land, he has to keep it a common use of facility with non-discriminatory access to common. He cannot differentiate between different customers. Okay? That's the only catch we have.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in Schedule 1, sir, if the land is private, then terminal charges and terminal access charges is given to the operator.
Yeah.
So what railways will get, sir?
Freight revenue.
Freight only.
Yeah, what is terminal access charges? Suppose that PCM rake comes, which loads, say 2500 tons. So TC is 50,000 rupees.
Sir.
And the freight you run is 40 lakh, 50 lakh.
Sir.
So terminal charges are hardly 1% to 2% of my freight revenue.
Right.
If a PCM rake say Pudden is loaded from Punjab to say Karnataka or to Assam, the freight revenue is 40 lakh plus and TC is 50,000. So I am giving TC to him. Or if it is a private rake, then the TAC is 1,60,000 per rake. So I am giving him 1,60,000. I am earning freight revenue of 40 lakh, 50 lakh. Okay. And in return, he is maintaining the terminal. The amount we spend on maintaining our good share is much more. All that burden, all that day-to-day problems, all that maintenance, cost of maintenance is being borne by that person. Okay. So it is a what we call in Hindi, "Payde ka sauda" for it is. Okay. Clear? Any doubt?
Sir.
Oh. So now we will come to some silent features. I have already discussed them by discussing the previous slides, but again, sort of summary. No departmental charges to be levied. Then no commercial staff cost to be levied. Okay. So again, there is something which our friends from traffic department, some operators and commercial will be appreciating more, but for others, I will just.
Sir, are you moving the slides?
Yeah.
Are you moving the slides, sir? Slides not being moved.
I am on GCT policy 5.
5, but sir, slide is not being moved, sir. We are still on the first slide itself.
Okay, I will just stop and share again.
Slide was not moving. You cannot correlate the trees. What is he speaking and then what is being shown on the right?
Now you can see 5?
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay. Now, can you please put it on presentation?
So you were able to see slides 2, 3, 4 or not?
No, we have not seen those slides. And at least from now onwards, it can
Oh, you were
be
not
on
able to see the
presentation.
slides 2, 3, 4, okay. Okay, anyway. So, as I have already said, we will not charge any departmental charges and we will not charge any commercial staff.
Can it be moved on presentation mode, because this is not on the presentation mode. Presentation from
Okay, I am here in the presentation mode only.
No.
Bottom that covers.
Bottom?
That wine cup plate. Sir, in your right corner, there one wine cup type is there. F5, you have to click that, sir. That will become presentation mode, sir. Right of your screen, sir. After presenting. Yes, sir, that was.
Now it's okay?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Fine.
Okay, great. So we were talking about commercial staff also.
Once,
So what?
if sir won't mind,
Yeah.
once we can rush through the third and fourth slide also once for the betterment of others.
Okay. So this was first slide. Second slide we talked about capital cost. The cost to be borne by the operator. And cost of power user to be borne.
Sir, it's not moving. Sir, it's not moving here, sir.
It's not moving there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for each slide then I have to stop sharing and then do it again. Okay, no problem. I will do it. So, okay, you can see slide 2.
No,
No, not yet.
it's not visible, sir. When PPT itself is not visible, sir.
Now you can see my screen.
No, sir.
Not yet.
They are saying that your screen is being shared. Just stop sharing. Share.
Sir, instead of sharing screen, sir can try from a tab, sir. That will be better, sir. Sir, sharing screen may not work in many times.
Previously, I was doing sharing tab, sharing window.
Okay, so then I think we can do that itself, sir. When instead of going in the tab,
Okay.
that will be fine, sir. Even if you have a layout in the side, that's
Share
better.
anyway, please guide them.
Now you can see it.
Still no, sir.
Still no.
Now,
No, sir.
no.
No, sir.
Sir, if I share the presentation with you, can you show it there?
Batao.
Will it be possible?
That we can do, sir.
That can be done.
Okay. I am sharing the presentation with sir.
Presentation send कर दे. Yes, अभी last. जो presentation है, that slides were not moving. So he tried from there. Now we are trying that we can show the slides from here.
Sir is there? Sir, I have shared the presentation on your mobile, WhatsApp.
On attendance number.
Okay, so we will, by the time it is on, we will discuss the cost of the concept of commercial. So we thought that the capital cost is to be borne by the operator from the takeoff point onwards. However, the cost for common user facilities at serving station are to be borne by railway. For new drop station, the cost will be borne by operator, which can be reimbursed subject to certain benchmark loading as a freight rebate. Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
So 3. So schedule 1 we talked about. There is a standing committee of DRM, scenario, etc. 20,000 rupees is the application fees. Joint survey within 15 days by the supervisors of engineering, operating and S&T. And within 20 days, if it is feasible, IRTS to be granted. Then ESP is to be submitted by the party within 4 weeks. After ESP approval, the construction can start. No departmental charges, only a refundable security deposit to be standard. We have talked about it. Next slide, please. Schedule 2 we have talked about. Railway will identify the land and decide the minimum infrastructure required at the terminal. And a transparent tendering process is required for allotment of land. The first packet is just the eligibility. The eligibility is also very simple, just experience in logistics business and is some turnover over last 3 years. That is all eligibility required. And the second packet, the financial bit, is a share in TC and TSC. The minimum, the party asking for minimum share will be awarded the contract. The land will be licensed to the operator, the railway land. The operator can make additional facilities, value-added services, etc. Can charge any fees from the customer. However, the facilities will be common user and non-discriminatory access to all. We have talked about this in detail. Just to summarize it, now we will come to the next slide. Okay. So, no department charges to be levied. We have already talked about it. Now the next one is no commercial staff cost to be levied. So this commercial staff cost is a very sensitive issue, and friends from the traffic department operating in commercial will be able to appreciate it more, but for the benefit of others. Traditionally, what used to happen that for any private siding, we used to charge the cost of commercial staff which is posted in the siding. So, whatever number of staff is posted, the siding owner was supposed to give their complete salary. So, there were sidings where maybe 50, 80, 100 people were posted, and that siding owner used to pay the salary for all those 100 people. Okay. Then there was a lot of discussion on that. Parties say that it is a very big recurring cost on them, because the private parties, they are often ready to pay capital cost. One-time cost they are ready to pay, but recurring costs hurt them more, because one-time cost is obviously one-time cost, and they can get funding from bank, loan from banks, etc. for that also. But for recurring cost, like staff cost, if we are charging. So suppose on today we charge staff cost for 100 staff. 1 lakh per person is ballpark figure. So 1 crore per month is the staff cost only, 12 crore per year. It's a huge cost. So they were very apprehensive about paying that cost. We approached railway board ministries. So then it was decided gradually that okay, we will charge only for 1 staff per shift. That is 3 person the cost will be charged, irrespective of the number of people we have actually posted. Okay, so that relaxed things on them a bit. Then gradually it was decided that okay, we will charge only for 1 person. So from 2018 onwards, we were charging only staff cost of 1 person, irrespective of the number of staff which is actually posted. And then it was decided that okay, there is no point in charging the cost of 1 person. Anyway, the staff cost is already built in my rate. So it is decided that we will not charge any staff cost and the DCT cost. The next point that we have already talked about, that for the railway land provided for the purpose of connectivity, there will be no land license. Common user facilities will be constructed and maintained by railway at own cost. Now again there is a small catch that whatever facilities are being constructed at the station, that is common user facility, railway will construct. So what was happening, the policy came in December 21, and in the next 6-7 months, what we observed, we at Railway Board observed that okay, the approval time was, in principal approval was 20 days, then within 4 weeks he was giving ESP, which was approved in say 1 month more. So within 3 months, the party started their construction. They are constructing their terminal, they are ready, they will be ready to give us the traffic within say next 6-7 months, within a year. And for facilities which are to be constructed at the station, we have not even started planning for. We are just proposal gaya hai and approval hoga, then we will start construction, all those things are coming. So they approached us, both railways approached us and parties approached us. That okay, I am constructing my terminal at a very rapid pace, but your station is not getting ready at the same pace. So I will be ready, you will not be ready, so it will be used as my resources are getting wasted, my money is getting wasted. So in that amendment in the policy came in December 22, 1 year later, and it was decided that okay, if railway is unable to construct common user facility in time, then party can also construct those facility, and the complete cost for that construction will be reimbursed to the party as 10% freight discount without any condition. No condition. He spends say 5 crore rupees at a station, the 5 crore will be reimbursed to him as 10% freight discount. Okay?
So I have a query in this.
Yeah, please.
So this freight, 10% freight discount will be for a particular period or till the cost is matched, the construction cost is
for 10 years or till the cost is matched, whichever is earlier.
Whichever is earlier.
Whichever is earlier.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
What is our rough estimate that nobody will wait for 10 years, it will be recovered. For an average terminal also, it will be recovered within 3 to 4 years. So the moment it is recovered, the discount will stop. Okay?
So one more small...
Clear?
Sir, one more question. This is with regards to the LLF, land license fee being charged.
Yeah.
We have a new Gati Shakti terminal in Mysore, Kadakola, for which we have received a demand notice from railways for asking for the LLF to be paid. This is actually a Gati Shakti terminal what has been recently opened.
So it is on railway land or
it is for the railway land on which through which the railway the track has been connected for. This is a private land. Land has been acquired from KIADB, that is from the Industrial Development Board. For the land acquired from railways, for the part of land acquired from railways for connectivity of rail line, for that part, railways are given a demand note for payment of LLF.
No, for connectivity, the policy is very clear that there is no LLF.
Oh, but still we have received.
You please approach the RF.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe there is something which you are not aware or I am not aware, so I cannot really talk about case specific thing now because right now also I am out of railway board, so I am not dealing with this policy right now. So, but the policy was very clear that for connectivity there will be no LLM. You please approach DRM, because DRM is the nodal officer, he will take care, or if DRM is not able to address you, somebody from your office can approach the FM directorate of railway board also.
Sure.
They will be able to resolve question. Because I don't know the details, so I cannot really give you a black and white solution.
Understood.
But, the policy is very clear. For connectivity, there is no element. Okay.
Yeah.
Now again, a new concept which has been brought in, that for the maintenance of the connectivity portion for the line which is
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, I was just telling that since we are rushing through the previous, which has already been told, we have our timing up to 11:15. So we'll have that thing.
I will just finish GCT policy in maybe 2-3 sentences more.
Sure,
and we will
please.
Shift to wagon.
Yeah, please, just having a timing in mind. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure,
Please continue.
So for the maintenance part, from the line which is starting from my station and which goes up to the terminal, the complete maintenance will be done by railway free of cost. The yard within the terminal, loading and unloading lines will not be maintained because obviously there is a potential where there can be misuse and there can be damages done by the operator due to mishandling, etc. So that we will not maintain, but the connectivity portion, if it is 100 meters, it is 10 kilometers, it will be maintained by railway free of cost. And all communities are permitted, including Coke and Coke. So we will finish GCT policy and move ahead. Next slide, please. There's just statistics, you can look into it later. Next slide. There are some images of terminals which have been commissioned during the last 2.5 years. Just please rush through the images. Please go ahead, we can skip the images.
Next.
Okay. So now the second type of policy, the second category of policies which have corporate business has is the policies for induction of wagons. That is, if RT comes and brings in wagons for operation of Indian railway system. So there are right now 3 policies which are functional, which are operational. The first is automobile freight train operator, or AFTO scheme. Then for special purpose wagons, there used to be 2 policies: liberalized wagon investment scheme (LWIS) and special freight train operator (SFTO) scheme. Again, as we have seen in the terminal policy, these 2 policies were quite similar and had a lot of overlap. So these 2 were merged in 2020, and a new policy, liberalized special freight train operator (LSFTO) scheme was introduced. And the third is general purpose wagon investment scheme (GPW). Okay, next slide, please. So we will discuss these policies, the basic features of these policies one by one. The first is automobile freight train operator, or AFTO scheme. So automobile transportation is a field which is considered to be a sunrise sector for Indian Railways. India is a big center now for manufacturing of automobiles, and as you are well aware that automobile manufacturing is quite localized or quite concentrated in a few pockets. So Maruti is making one sort of car, say Baleno, so it is being manufactured only at one point in India, or maybe at 2 points. So the distribution throughout the country from those 1 or 2 points has to be done. So previously, there used to be trucks, big, huge trucks, which were automobile carriers, which used to transport cars from factory to different dealerships across the country. Railway sensed an opportunity and started entering into this business. We started into this business in, say, around 2014, 15, we really became serious and entering into business. And now, within 10 years, we have captured almost 20% of the market. So it is a huge jump. It is a really one of the great success stories of Indian Railways that we were able to capture automobile freight and automobile traffic. And AFTO scheme has been a contributor. So this policy aims at inducting auto carriers. Auto carrier means wagons which can transport cars or SUVs or automobiles. These are called auto carriers. So Indian Railways has its own fleet of auto carriers. We call them NMG. You might have heard about NMG wagons. So NMG wagons are used to transport automobiles. They are railway owned. But we have given opportunity to private parties also. They can bring in their wagons and they can also transport automobiles. Actually, the AFTO scheme has been really helpful in bringing in traffic because just think about it. Railway can transport cars from station to station. Bringing cars from the manufacturing unit to station for then loading it into train. Again, it is a specialized thing. It is not a sack or something loose commodity which can be, you can bring in labor and you can load it. It has to be, the car has to be driven inside the wagon, bar gauge. It is very specialized. Again, at the destination, it has to be unloaded. You have to take the car out and then take it to the location of the dealer, which is a very specialized. So these operators, these AFTOs came in and they provided end-to-end service to the car manufacturing companies. So Marutis and Hyundais and Hondas, they were not very comfortable in bringing their cars to railways. They were saying that who will load the car? Who will load the car? How will the car leave the dealer? When I am sending my truck, the truck comes to my factory, I load it in my factory, and then it reaches the dealer's location, dealer will load it. So it's very easy for me. If you want me to load it by train, okay, it's cheaper, I agree. But how can I do it? This is a very, very difficult thing for me to load and unload. Then these operators came, they said that, okay, don't worry, we will take care of everything. We will provide first mile, we will provide last mile, we will load, we will unload, we will ensure that there are no scratches. So even if it's not a scratch, the car is useless. If you are going to buy a new car and there is a 6-inch long scratch, you will not buy that car. Okay, so a small scratch, 6-inch, 8-inch scratch, the car becomes useless. So it is very specialized, very precision sort of thing. So these operators came and they gave end-to-end service, and then the traffic started to come to us. In this policy again, there is no registration fee. Earlier there was a 3 crore registration fee, we waived it off. There is the type of wagons which have been inducted. There is called BCAC BM wagons. There is a double-decker wagon. So there are 2 layers on which cars are loaded. There is a problem which we are facing now in BCAC BM wagon because the top tier is smaller in height. So now, as you all are aware, that now we are shifting towards, the market is shifting towards SUVs. Everybody is purchasing SUVs. The SUV share is increasing. So due to the shorter height, SUVs cannot be located in the top deck because the height is less. Only smaller cars can be loaded. So 2 new designs have been approved by IRSE in which SUVs can be loaded in both decks. However, the induction is yet to start. So freight is calculated on the basis of haulage charges. Specialized traffic, there are specialized freight revenue scheme. So we charge charges for loaded and empty, differential charges are there. And recently, because they are complaining that the top deck is going empty because SUVs cannot be loaded in top deck. So recently, last year, the board has introduced separate haulage charges for double deck loading and single deck loading, just to give some relief to the operator. We have also permitted loading of auto ancillaries and spare parts, so that suppose a train is going from, say, Gurgaon, where a lot of load manufacturing is done, to say West Bengal, where but it has to return empty because there is no auto manufacturing going on in West Bengal. But there are some spares, some accessories which are being manufactured. So we have permitted loading of those spares also, so that the train doesn't come back empty, they can load it something else. So we have 7 operators, 79 rakes are there, approved and 43 rakes are running in this scheme. Next slide, please. The second is LSFTO, or Liberalized Special Freight Train Operator Scheme. So this scheme is for special purpose and high capacity wagons for non-conventional traffic. So there are several commodities which don't normally come to railways. So in railways, we know that we are loading coal, we are loading iron ore, we are loading food grain, we are loading fertilizer, we are loading cement. But there are several commodities which don't come to railways. Say alumina, which is something which we feel that we can load, but they don't come to railways because they need special type of wagons. These commodities need special type of wagons, and Indian Railways is not interested in investing in those wagons because they have very limited market. So there are only a couple, 2, 3, 4 operators, 2, 3, 4 routes where alumina is manufactured and transported. So if Indian Railways invest in wagons transporting alumina, and suppose 5 years down the line this traffic goes away from there, then my wagon, my investment will go waste. Indian Railways is not interested in investing in those special purpose wagons. So we brought in the schemes where private parties can invest and transport these specialized commodities. And the objective is that once a private party, private operator is investing and bringing in traffic, then they will make the effort. They will, since they have made a capital investment, so they will keep on making effort to, so that the traffic remains with the railway. Okay, so the railway will win additional traffic, additional revenue, and they will earn profit. That is the objective. Again, there is no registration fee in this scheme. There are a few type of wagons which I have mentioned, on which are being inducted under these schemes. These wagons are basically for transportation of iron and steel, finished products, alumina, petroleum products, etc., gas, LPG, CNG, etc. Under this scheme, there is a rate rebate of 12% for 20 years. And for high capacity wagons, if the wagon is able to load more than what an equivalent normal wagon loads, then for additional 10% increase in per weight capacity, 2% additional rebate is granted. Maintenance is done by railways at its own cost, and no freight is charged for empty movement of the rail, provided the empty movement is less than or equal to the previous loaded rate. Again, there is statistics, number of operators, number of freight sections. Any question on this scheme?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, very good. We will go to the next slide. Next slide, please. So, this is GPWIS, General Purpose Wagon Investment Scheme. The latest scheme brought in 2018 only, and however, the most popular, most path-breaking scheme. So under this scheme, what we said that we will allow private parties to bring in general purpose common wagons. The wagons which are owned by railways themselves, the private party can bring in, purchase those wagons also. Like Box and BC and BOBRM, they can purchase those wagons and move their commodities. So 2018 was a time when there was a huge shortage of wagons in Indian Railways and there was a huge traffic, but we were not able to supply wagons. So we decided, we brought in this policy so that private parties can bring in their own wagons. There is no registration fee and the wagons are not merged with Indian Railways too. So previously also we brought in a scheme which was called OYWS, Own Your Wagon Scheme. It was brought in 1990s and under that scheme what used to happen that private parties purchased wagons and gave to railways. Railways took those wagons and merged with their pool. And in return, we gave guaranteed supply to those parties. However, those policies faced a lot of problems, and we are still facing a huge number of court cases against that policy. So to avoid those pitfalls, those shortcomings, and those court cases, etc., we decided that this time that we will not merge those wagons in our pool. जो जिसके वैगन है उसके पास रहेंगे. The wagon will remain the owners with separate color code. The name of the party will be written on the wagon so that there is no confusion. Even 25 years down the line, the party can identify that okay, this is my wagon, this is railways. So we give a freight rebate of 10% for 15 years, but the freight rebate is capped to the investment. So if a party purchases a rate, say 20 crore rupees, then we will give a freight rebate of 10% for 15 years or till the time the freight rebate of 20 crore is recovered. However, when in this case, when we are giving freight rebate, we also give interest. So he is investing 20 crores. So if it takes say 10 years in recovering the amount, then 10 years down the line, 20 crore will not remain 20 crores. So he will be paying some interest, so we will get an interest also. So it is a complicated formula, complicated mechanism by which we give him return and IRSE rate of return. Okay. So the party has invested 20 crore, then maybe he will be able to recover 24 crore, 25 crore, depending on the time of recovery and what is the IRTS rate of return. So it was a huge super hit scheme of Indian Railways. Within 5 years, you can see the number of indexes has touched 300 and rakes approved as 650 plus. So the number of rakes was increasing with such a rapid pace that we felt that we will not be able to handle any more rakes. The congestion was started. So in March 23, a 2 years moratorium has been placed on new approvals. Whatever is approved, they can inject those for 2 years. Till March 25, no new approval will be granted. With March 25, it will be reviewed. So this is the GPWIS. Okay, any question about it? Any question about anything which we have discussed so far?
Any questions?
Sir, ये कहाँ से purchase करते हैं local rate? Sir, from where this private parties purchase these wagons?
Okay, very good question. So Indian Railways does not manufacture wagons. You must be aware that Indian Railways produce or manufacture its own locomotives and its own coaches. But wagons we do not manufacture. There are a number of private manufacturers who manufacture wagons and Indian Railways also purchase from them. Okay. So these parties also purchase the wagons from those same manufacturers.
These are
there are I think 7 or 8 parties.
These are IRSE approved firms.
Yes, IRSE. These firms are IRSE approved. There is strict testing is done before the wagons are actually inducted got into IR system. And one more thing, they have to purchase bill and excels from Indian Railways only. So the bills and excels they have to purchase from IR, and only those bills and excels can be put in those records.
How many,
Because the design, manufacturing process, everything is IRTS.
Can we, can some known names are there from where it can be?
Okay, so one is IR owned PSU, that is Brake Paint and Company. This is a PSU which is IR owned, like Concord and Rights, etc. Then non-railway, there are T-Tagon wagons, General Rail. These three I can think of right now. There are 2-3 names. So T-Tagon is I think the biggest. General Rail is also a big one, but they normally manufacture only for their own. It's General only, because General is also a big investor in LSFQ and DPWI, so they make for General only. And then Brake Paint is IR, PSU owned by that.
Okay.
Sir, Indian Railways making coaches and this locomotives. Why can't we make this wagons?
Okay, right now we are hiving off these manufacturing of coaches and locomotives also. In locomotive, private parties are coming. GE is coming. Madhepura plant you must be knowing, which is privately owned. So it used to happen that Indian Railways thought that we will manufacture everything ourselves. But then it was thought that wagon is not that critical for safety. Locomotives and coaches is important for passenger safety. Human lives are involved. For wagons, human lives are not that much involved. That's why it was thought at that time that private parties can manufacture. So it was allowed for private parties to manufacture.
Yeah, it's the reverse process. It's the reverse process. More and more private participation.
Now we are.
Yeah, please.
Now we are. But now we are already allowed private parties to manufacture locomotives and coaches. I am sure within a couple of years they will be allowed. So now you might be aware the new wagon policy which came in 23. Now we have allowed private parties to design new wagons also, so they can design wagons without IRTS approval. I don't think whether some new wagon has come or not, but now the designing part has also been taken away from IRTS.
Okay.
Okay. Next question. Anything else?
Sir, with us new, so many schemes are there. I'm a doctor, sir, so I'm probably illiterate in this aspect. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for a very wonderful presentation, sir. Basically I'm a doctor, so I'm totally illiterate in this aspect. But having heard all this, like so many schemes are there, what is the percentage saturation of freight movement in this country? Like in railways.
Please repeat your question last time.
Can you please repeat?
What is the?
What is the saturation of the freight movement? We have invested so much in these wagons, private participation of wagons and all. Have the railways taken up most of the freight movement? I mean, the movement of commodities.
Okay, so their share,
yes.
Their share of freight business in India is around 27-28%. Okay, so at the time of independence, we were 45%, then we came down to around 20-23%. Now we have started again increasing, and we are now 27-28%. However, the constraint is not wagons right now. The constraint is more terminals and more line capacity. So, what I want to say that the traffic is available, but the capacity is limited. That is actually preventing us from going more. Actually, we can go up to what we are right now loading. So, last year, 23-24, our loading was 1,591 million tons. that is 1.6 billion tons approximately. So we can easily achieve, the market is available for 3 billion tons or 3,000 million tons, but our capacity is limited. That's why the focus is on capacity building.
Okay.
Our
So we
target
want
is
tremendous of capacity to be moved. In fact, our share has decreased because other sectors, road sector and other, they have increased their share in capturing the freight. The freight market itself is getting enhanced, and we have moved from 1991 from around 200 metric ton to around 1600 metric ton by this year. Even though it is more, we are increasing our share. We are increasingly transporting more freight, but still our share has decreased over the years. So it means that if we work on all those initiatives, and maybe much more initiatives to come, the more and more share of railway may increase in the freight operations. Yeah, any other question, please? I think he has got a question.
Time permits, I have lots of questions. Actually, good morning, sir. I am Dr. Mujumdar from Southeastern Railway. We are actually very much interested to develop the PPP mode CT scan and MRI center, and forthcoming some art project in the medical division. So how to estimate the tender value in a PPP project? It is a very challenging job for us because it is related to the private party is investing machines, manpower. Railway is providing land and the water supply and electricity. Then now before going to the tender, entering the tender estimation is very difficult because there is so much of observations from finance and other departments. So this is a problem for medical department to finalize the tender value. And one more question is there, sir. How to assess the premium value in the tender? Premium, who will pay the highest premium, they will be selected from the tender. So as it is a premium value is set by the railway board 1,000 rupees per project. So it is just 1,000 rupees is a token, but in the practically when will we go into the tender, it will be a very tough job for us to select the party. And it is also related to how to assess the EMD. What is the rule of annual turnover of the party who are interested for participation in the tender? So these things are very questions.
We can understand that many of our participants are at various stages how to handle tender and contracts, and this is particularly at the level of much and more participation of public-private participation. So right now, Mr. Mudit had been handling. He handled about the commercial policies which has been shaped at the railway board level, particularly with regard to freight movement. The question which you had asked, they mostly pertains to tenders and contracts. And tender and contracts, how to, of course, in PPP mode, but basically EMDs, evaluations, and all the questions, they pertain to the basics of tenders and contracts. So I would invite, I think few of these items particularly related to PPP would be handling in the financial classes which are going to be next onwards, and these aspects. And then we especially run tenders and contracts here also, special courses for that. So I think that would be much more fruitful. Here, regarding commercial policies, the initiatives by the board we have heard, and that has been very useful. And in fact, that will give us inputs how we can draw the similar initiatives in other fields of railway working as well. Your questions we will be taking separately in few of the next incoming classes, or in the tender contracts session separately. Okay. Any other question? I think, Mr. Mudit, you had been so convincing that when we have, when the participants are thoroughly abreast of it. In case you have got some final concluding remarks.
Thank you, sir. It was a very good session. There was regular feedback and interaction with the participants, which is very good. Thank you very much. Thank you all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that was quite an opening, and I think deserves a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.